Welcome back to the Basketball Show. I'm your host, Paul Sir, along with Ryan Reed in our last wrap-up segment for the day. And boy, Ryan, it has flown by. Can tell our listeners what the poll results are.
To no one's surprise, the Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads it. And honestly, at the beginning of the show, I did vote Jokic, but just going through everything with Shai, it makes sense for Shai totally. They've lost 7 times all season. I was talking to my friend Javier the other day, and he talked about that the MVP has gotten away a lot from winning. It's more about the statistical stuff, and he wants it to get back to winning. And I think with Shai winning it, it would be more about winning. And I think that's important, right? Like the Thunder are the best team by a large margin this season. Or no, they're not the best record team. I do think they're better than the Cavaliers overall. And Shai is still putting up 33, 6, and 5 or something like that. So I do think it's better to get back to that all about the winning versus the statistical stuff. I think it started with Russell Westbrook's triple-double when they were like the 6th seed in 2018, was it? Or 2017. It started with that. And again, triple-doubles are insane, and Jokic's stats, again, are ridiculous. But I do think I can totally see the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander case.
It is a strong case, and I think what you just summarized really are critical points when you do look at the impact of an MVP. I'm going to go way back to the Bill Russell era. Wilt Chamberlain statistically absolutely dominated the NBA statistically. Like Wilt's stats still historically are ridiculous. But Bill Russell won his share of MVPs because the Boston Celtics won championships. And he was the leader and the centerpiece of those championship teams. So you're right, Ryan. But what I think makes Shai very unique this year so far has been the fact that his team is built around his excellence and that everybody on that team plays roles to support him. But he is the engine that drives that team. You take Gilgeous-Alexander out of the Thunder's lineup and rotation, they become a very average team very, very quickly. And I think you would say that about Jokic when they won their title. And the fact that when they have been competitive, it all centers around Nikola Jokic. You can still make a very strong case for Nikola Jokic.
Yes.
And when you look at Antetokounmpo's numbers, I mean, they're outrageous, but the Bucks aren't the team that certainly the Thunder are. But the Nuggets, who are one of those teams that are struggling to be consistently winning basketball games, I think at this juncture, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I think reflects very accurately as the MVP leader based on, I think, our intelligent readers voting.
The Nuggets are still 25-16 on the season.
They're very good.
And they're 7-3 in their last 10. So it's not like the Nuggets are not winning. But again, that the juxtaposition with the Thunder at 34-7 and the Nuggets at 25-16, it is pretty significant.
At this, and again, we're going back to, this is halfway through the season. 41 games into the season, the Nuggets are 25-16. 41 games into the season, we had the Thunder only have 7 losses rather. There's still 41 games to go.
And the Nuggets are on pace to win 50, exactly, right? 25-16 is 41, so it's exactly halfway through the season. They should be 50 and 32, technically, right? So 50 wins, an MVP at 50-win season isn't ridiculous. But then again, the Thunder are also exactly halfway through their season, and they're on pace for 68 wins, which is like you just kind of got, even if the stats are favor
all-time
Jokic,
great.
You have to give it to Shai, it seems like at that point.
Well, I mean, if they're in that 65 range of wins for the remainder of the season, if that's where they end up, clear cut. And it's nothing diminishing or demeaning to Nikola Jokic to lose to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with that kind of team record built around his individual genius.
On that same winning note, do you give any light of day to Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers? They have a better record than the Thunder do. They've lost 6 times all season. Again, they don't have the same statistical and more just like fan favorite popularity, but Donovan Mitchell still is playing out of his mind this season. The team as well. Maybe Coach of the Year can go.
I don't know. I would go. I mean, I think if you chose either the Cavalier or the Thunder coach, it would be it would be a fair choice. They're both, I mean, doing unbelievably well. The only thing I would say about Cleveland is that's a team that has a star, not a superstar in Donovan Mitchell.
Well, he's only 23 a night. Like only, I say. Like he's still good, but 23 a night is it's 10 points less.
It's been the
Shai.
It's been the emergence of his backcourt mate.
It's been
Garland.
a team, exactly.
And then the bigs. They're playing with two bigs, which is
Mobley's
unheard of.
ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, Mobley's great. Allen's tough. So night in and night out, the Cavaliers are going to beat you in a variety of ways. Night in and night out, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to have 30 to 40, and then you're going to see other players like their other very good Canadian, Lugan Stort, who's a defensive specialist, one of the best, should be a first-team all-defensive player this year. But some nights he has 4, some nights he has 22. So the way that a team wins in that situation is to have, like the Bulls had, when Jordan was the centerpiece, with Scottie Pippen, still one of the greatest players of all time, supplementing him. But it was all Michael Jordan. You take Jordan out when he retired and did that baseball thing. I mean, the Bulls became a shadow of themselves real quickly. The same would happen with the Thunder. So at this point, good on our listeners. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Canadian, I think right now making a strong case to be the favorite for the MVP at this juncture in the
season. That same idea, and speaking of Scotty, actually, Scotty Barnes or Evan Mobley's kind of been a debate for a while now, and with Mobley's emergence with the Cavaliers, and Scotty's still playing very well, albeit a worse team, where would you stand, Paul, on the Mobley versus Scotty Barnes debate when starting a franchise and contributing to winning?
Boy, that's a tough one, because as much as I like Scotty Barnes' versatility, what bothers me about Scotty Barnes' versatility is I don't know. I still don't know if he's your centerpiece,
the number one.
Yeah, because he doesn't shoot it that well. He shoots it okay. He scores. He's got a good back to the basket game. Like, he's very versatile. Scotty Barnes is really, really good, and for all intents and purposes, like Mobley, a really good teammate. So that's a tough call. For me, it's almost a 50-50 toss.
Because Mobley isn't a 1 either, right? Like, he
No.
can't be. He's averaging 19 a night right now. Incredibly defensive player, incredible defensive player, and a very important to winning. But again, he's like what, number 3 and 4 for scoring options on that team?
Yeah, and I think with Mobley, the thing that he does that's extraordinary is it changes a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So, I mean, his presence in the middle, along with Allen, makes it really tough for teams to score around the rim against Cleveland.
42% from 3 too on 3 attempts a game.
Yeah,
the bigs hitting threes this season at a crazy clip.
Well, the bigs are hitting threes, and one of the reasons they're hitting threes
they're leaving them open.
Well, no, that's just it. In the flow of the offense, bigs get open. When teams target the 3-point shooter from another team, they're going to run them off the line. They're going to take that away from them. Where the bigs, where they're setting screens, a lot of times the player that's open for a three-pointer isn't the person getting screened for; it's a screener.
Because he's pop. They just fake a handoff. I've watched enough Kings games to see Sabonis. Most of his threes, they just leave him. And they still leave him when he leads the league in 3-point percentage. To me, that feels a little ridiculous when he's just hitting. Like, most NBA players, big or not, have shot open threes in their lifetime, right? I've seen a video of guys remember Boban Marjanovic?
Yeah.
He hit 20 threes in a row, just open threes in a YouTube video I saw once.
Yeah.
Just leaving guys open. They have touch. They have skill. They're going to hit wide open threes. And you see it with the big man right now.
Well, and I think that's a real cool development. I mean, let's talk about Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, he's one of the great 3-point
One of the
shooters.
greatest forms I've seen from big men. It's a perfect set shot.
Perfect set shot, the quick release, the beautiful action on the follow-through. But, yeah, it's very interesting to see that pendulum swing now to where bigs – I mean, Jakob Poeltl, it's scary to see. I don't think he's ever taken a three. But even from the elbow, I mean, his shot is just abysmal. But but around the basket, he's got beautiful hands, catches the ball, really nice soft hands, finishes really well around the basket. Outside of 8 feet, as Josh Lewenberg was referring to, he's a traditional big. Back to the basket, slips off screens, going to finish around the rim. Where these other bigs have embraced the Dirk Nowitzki approach, which and that's one of the interesting developments in how the game evolves. It's when someone, usually one, breaks through and breaks new ground in areas that you never associated with that position. And specifically, Steph Curry, all of a sudden, 10 to 15 years ago, started shooting ridiculous shots from distances nobody would even have thought of taking in situations nobody would have, any coach would have lost their mind. And he starts making them. All of a sudden, everybody else starts picking up on it.
On that note, for me, it's Steph Curry that kind of brought like the 3-point extravaganza to my life and my basketball career. When you were growing up, was there someone like that to not obviously to the same extent, but did Ray Allen, did Reggie Miller, Larry Bird? Which of those guys did it the most for you up until Steph Curry? Because obviously you weren't a kid when Ray Allen, maybe not obviously, but Ray Allen was not a kid.
No, obviously. No. When I was a kid, the guys I referred to were Jerry West, but my idol that I modeled my game after was John Havlicek from the Celtics. Very, very different. I mean, you watch the games today, watch highlights. I'm going to start posting some of the videos they get of the old days, and it's just so strikingly different. But all along the way, there have been those players. In the 50s, it was George Mikan, the first great big man. But then
glasses, right? He had the glasses.
Yeah, the Bale glasses. That's right. And then
that's who I modeled my game after.
At least in eyewear. And then, but then Elgin Baylor comes into the league, and 6'5" power forward. And there were other players along the way. Bill Russell, of course, Havlicek, a lot of the other great Celtic players. But then in the 70s, it started to fade a bit, and people, like it's talked about a lot, but maybe not enough, that in 1978, you watched NBA Finals on tape late at night. They didn't even show it in primetime on the weekends, not just during the weeknights. On the weekends, they showed it late at night on taped recording. Then Bird and Magic came and saved the NBA, changed the game. So Bird and Magic changed it. Michael Jordan changed it. Allen Iverson, to a point, kind of, sort of.
Off the court, maybe more. Like the culture more. He kind of elevated the culture a bit.
100%. The charismatic off the court.
Tattoos and everything.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then the other players start coming in. Of course, Shaq, Kobe. You can't diminish Kobe. LeBron emerges. But I really think revolutionizing the game, LeBron shows how well a game can be played by a big, powerful athlete. Curry revolutionized the game. Caitlin Clark, because of Steph Curry, in my mind, revolutionized the women's game and has shown women what they can do. Those are the kind of game changers that revolutionize the game. Connie Hawkins made Dr. J possible. The big swooping dunks off the bounce. There's just so many great examples and stories in the NBA and the ABA, which is one of my favorite.
Was the ABA? Were those games on tape as well, or did they get a little bit more coverage than the NBA, or was it very?
No, less. I remember watching one Saturday when I was in college, Dr. J and the Virginia Squires playing George Gervin. It was just unbelievable. Like, who are these guys? You look at the statistics. ABA beat the NBA in more games when they played head to head. That's a whole different story, and I can't wait.
Julius Erving, ABA star too, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
75-76, great season for him.
Great season. That's dating myself. That was my senior year in college.
I don't have many memories of that year.
Oh, no, you don't. You weren't a glint in your father's eye, that's for sure.
But my dad wasn't alive either.
No, he wasn't. You guys are youngsters. So, but it's one of the things I'm grateful for is to have had the opportunity to be able to watch Wilt versus Russell, to watch West versus Sam Jones, to see the game evolve and grow has just been fantastic through my life. And one of the reasons I love doing this show so much is just bringing focus and energy to the basketball show. We're going to close off now. I'm going to remind everybody tonight down at the Starlight Room at 10030 102nd Street. There's the Celebration of Life of Ben Sur. Bands will be playing tribute to Ben and his music and his life. They're coming in from all over North America. It's going to be a night of passionate punk rock by Ben's friends and family. Doors open at 5 p.m. All of the proceeds go to mental health services to help people who are battling trauma, who are battling addiction. We miss Ben deeply every day, but the impact that Ben had in his life on so many people with his kindness and his ability to bring people together is going to be exemplified tonight at a packed venue down at the Starlight Room once again. And by the way, Ben loved basketball. He was a huge John Stockton fan. Absolutely loved the game of basketball. And
another guy that revolutionized the game, Stockton.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely did. And Ben and I were talking about developing something called Punk Rock Hoops he was going to do a podcast because a lot of people in his punk rock community love the game of basketball. And we're hoping this summer to do a 3x3 event downtown during a punk rock music festival. So lots of info to come up on that. Thank you all so much for joining. Ryan, thank you today. Great show.
It was cool. I had a friend on. I talked about the Kings. What else can you ask for?
Your day is made. And to everybody listening, thank you for spending your time with us today. To our guests, fantastic to be able to speak with you. We look forward to being back next weekend with you here on the Basketball Show. In the meanwhile, have a safe, great week. Stay warm. Make it great on and off the court. This is the Basketball Show on your sports leader, Sports 1440.